Hello, this is Goward Horton, host of the G-Force Show, also host of the G-Force Ministries. I'm your host. Hello, and thanks for coming to another episode and listening to another episode. You didn't actually come here, so. But thank you guys for listening in. So, want to just lend my opinion to the whole Oscars boycott. I know that it's died down now, but there was a very big firestorm that erupted immediately when award-winning director Spike Lee and wonderful, beautiful actress Jada Pinkett said that they were going to protest the Oscars. And of course, Jada's husband Will decided to also protest the Oscars. And it was like this firestorm that erupted. But, this is what I want to put my 2 cents in on, first of all, before I go any further. I just think when you look at the way that this erupted and the way that people reacted to their decision to use their free speech and their choice to abstain from an institution that they felt was not giving them equal, observance as artists, that if you just look at the reaction, it's like someone had thrown feces on someone. Like they had thrown mess on someone's face. And like they were just like, oh, how dare you? How dare you say you're not coming?
Good morning.
Well, what do you think about this?
I think it's ludicrous.
Why?
Because we have to make up our minds. Either we want to have segregation or integration. And if we don't want segregation, then we need to get rid of channels like BET and the BET Awards and the Image Awards, where you're only awarded if you're black. If it were the other way around, we would be up in arms. It's a double standard.
So you say there shouldn't be a BET channel?
No, I don't think so, no. Just like there shouldn't be a Black History Month. We're Americans, period, that's it.
Are you saying there shouldn't be a Black History Month because there isn't a White History Month?
Exactly.
Al Sharpton has jumped on this boycott bandwagon. He says, don't watch because Hollywood, here's a quote, Hollywood has become like the Rocky Mountains. The higher you get, the whiter.
The whiter you get. Well, that's not necessarily true. And if it is, that needs to change. What I find astounding is that we've had a president who is black in office for the past 8 years, who gets most of his funding from the liberal elite in Hollywood.
Whose performance are you going to say wasn't as good as? Because that's how you have to look at this. And the other thing is, Chris Rock is the host of the Academy Awards. Right. And so to boycott him seems just as bad as what everybody's saying. Oh. See, because to me, no, you don't have to clap, you don't have to clap, it's okay. Because we have this conversation every year and it pisses me off.
I was saying, there is no joke that he can crack. There is no way for him to seize the moment and come into this thing and say, I'm going to say this and say that, I'm going to address the issue, and then I'm still going to keep my gig as a host. The statement that you make is you step down. That's what you do. And guess what? Me and you are friends.
Sure.
You shouldn't be going to the award show on behalf of me, because if they left you and your people out, I wouldn't go on behalf of you. Okay. That's all I'm saying. It ain't about racism. That we are dealing with a modern day racism, but I think we should all, now here's the thing, I'm being real because Leonardo is one of my good friends. I got his number in my phone. I feel bad on behalf of Leo that I believe this is gonna be the year that he finally wins an Oscar for Best Actor, and this is all going down on his watch.
So this will be like the tone of
Leo's got too many black friends.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't want Leo to not go get his trophy, but I feel bad that this is all going down. Like, he happens to be
like he's definitely the most black white man I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like his moment is
Pop
happening.
locks.
Listen,
He pop locks
listen.
everything?
Oh my
Oh,
God!
God, he's a dancer.
Leonardo, he knows every rap song there is. As I combine on the roof from the wine, will up, bring it back, come rewind. Like that's Leo. He's the guy.
Okay.
Swag levels is on
like
10.
Leo,
I
too?
love Leo. Everybody loves
Come
Leo.
on. So
If you
this
end
is
up
not.
posting- if
This
you
is
post a
not.
video of Leo
This is
Pop
not
Lock,
us saying.
Oh, yeah.
This
We
is
have
not
a
us-
video of him rapping like
Yeah,
that.
this is not us saying we're against the Oscars because we're gonna combat racism. We're just saying like, yo, this is not cool.
Sure.
Like this is not. You can't be doing this in 2016 and acting as if no one is gonna notice.
Right.
Come on. If that man is the best person for the job, whether they're a homosexual or not, give that man that job. Stop playing in 2016. This is America.
Sure.
Stop playing. If all of the voting academy members are 80 years old and they can only recognize gifts and talents that are associated to you being an actor in a slave movie, a housekeeper, or a nanny, get them out of there, man. It's time.
Well, it's really interesting. I've been nominated twice for Academy Awards, and
And the
I've never
Oscar goes
lost to a white person. The first time I lost to Denzel. The second time I lost to Forrest Whitaker. So for me, that was huge. So when I see this list and series of nominations that come out, and everybody is fantastic, and that's the complexity of this issue. Everyone is beautiful and deserving, and it's fantastic, but it feels like it's going the wrong direction. You know, when I look at it, the nominations reflect the Academy. The Academy reflects the industry, reflects Hollywood. And then the industry reflects America. It reflects a series of challenges that we are having in our country at the moment. There's a regressive slide towards separatism, towards racial and religious disharmony. And that's not the Hollywood that I want to leave behind. That's not the industry, that's not the America I want to leave behind.
The Academy is under.
So again, just because Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith decided they were going to take their freedom of speech, their God-given rights, and stand up for what they felt were their rights in America, and stand up against a just an oppressive system that they see constantly being allowed to stay in place, then they're the bad guys. You know, I mean, it's just crazy how in America, you know, whenever an African American stands up for their rights, then everyone gets so offended. But yet everyone else can really piggyback on the back of the civil rights movement, and they get, you know, honored and all this stuff, even if they're Caucasian. And she saw Stacey Dash, her statements, and there's many people that's weighed in on this. But to cut to the chase, because I really have to show you my video, folks, of the actual, you know, boycott, the actual footage. I was out there with Al Sharpton, my mother, Carolyn Owens Horton was out there, activist Linda J. But I went out there with my camera because I wanted to show my support and show solidarity, because I think that's the most important thing here. The reason why you boycott in any capacity, in any, you know, echelon of society, is because you want to see some change. You've seen something that's been wrong for a long time, and you're tired of supporting people who don't want to support you. And Oscars have had a very long history of being racist. It's not the Oscars themselves, by themselves. I mean, it's really the whole society has a history of being racist. We know all the way back to slavery. And that ideology of racism has propagated throughout society for a long time. And it's been proliferated throughout society for a long time. And it needs to stop. But it's going to start with the biggest voice in our society, and that is the media. It's got to start there. They stop showing stereotypes in movies, stop showing stereotypes of African Americans, and same thing with gender stereotypes with women and so forth. Then it changes. Same thing with Hispanics and any ethnicity. When they stop that at the top, when it comes to the movies, and stop sending out negative propaganda, then people's views will change in society. And that's what we understand as people who want to protest. The way the Oscars is not only awarding only certain portrayals of African Americans, that's the only ones they want to award, such as subservient roles when they play those roles, but also that they're just like literally ignoring great performances that are positive. And I'll get into that later, but I'll mention the Beast of No Nation, which they're going to mention. And of course, even though people want to be controversial about the NWA and Straight Outta Compton, that was a great movie, great acting, and whether you agree with the NWA, your feelings on how great they were for the community, you got to realize these young men took something with their gift and made something out of it and came out of Straight Outta Compton, and that represents a lot of people that say, hey, everything Compton ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? They may have some struggles, they may have bad situations that they have to deal with, and these young men took what they had to deal with and made something out of it. Ice Cube now being a movie actor and a movie writer and director. If you look at Dr. Dre now with the Dre Beats, which sell for like $400 a lot of times, these headphones. This man's a mogul, so you got to give him credit. He's doing something very positive with his gift when it comes to that. So even though you may not agree with all the rap out there and the way that some of them, of course, I don't agree with them using slurs against women or in general, not just NWA, I'm not focusing on them just alone, but just in general, or the way they focus on substance abuse, or the way, they talk about sexual, fornication rather than romancing a woman and marrying her. But then you got to look at rock too. Rock does a lot of the same things, and yet they demonize, gangsters as being the worst. But rock stars do most of the same stuff. I mean, they pretty much, and some of them are Satanists and everything. So you gotta look, and Satanists kill people. Okay, so you gotta look at both sides of that coin. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, that the Oscars so white. What is this really about? Is that it's when people say why is this so important? And why is it that we're not protesting something bigger? Because it's all connected, folks. It's all connected. The killings, the police brutality, all this is connected with people's view of black people. And it has to start with the view. You have to start with that first. And that's what a lot of people seem to not understand. And it seems clearly that Whoopi Goldberg doesn't understand that Stacey Dash doesn't understand it. And I understand why she played the role of Clueless, because she's clearly clueless about, and really, she played this role where she was really detached from and out of touch with the African American community. And it seems like that wasn't just a role. I'm really saddened by that, because I thought she was just playing a role very well, but it seems like she really believes this stuff. And for her to say we don't need an African American month and that we're the separatists here, we wouldn't need an African American month if folks weren't always trying to cover up our history, or they actually gave us equal credit. Like you didn't even know about half of these people, like even in American history, W.E. Du Bois, or even Martin Luther King had to fight to have a birthday celebration. I mean, it's ridiculous, the amount of, just kind of ignoring of any black person's contribution. How many inventors do we know that black people invented? So many things, and still, that's not in the history books. It's not taught in schools. So there's a conscious effort to try to ignore black history and try to ignore, and we really shouldn't just have Black History Month like they say. It should be all year, because it should be in the history books. It should be taught in schools, but it's not. So because it's not, we have to have a Black History Month. It's the same thing for why people say, why do you have to call yourself African American, which Raven Simone said recently. Because we want to remember that we came from Africa, and we don't want to say Africa, we're ashamed of Africa, and we're ashamed of our national, heritage, our place of origin. Other people call themselves Irish Americans, or they call themselves German Americans. There's no problem. As soon as you get to African American, people keep on tripping. And why do we have to keep having this conversation? Why do I have to keep even apologizing for doing that? You know what I mean? They should be able to embrace those differences, not have to argue over them. But going back to this, my point is I'm gonna show you. We're gonna go out to the street right now. I'm gonna show you what it was like at the Oscars boycott with Al Sharpton. And this last statement I'm gonna make. A lot of people come against Al Sharpton, and these people are really, to me, ungrateful because this man paved the way for you to get where you are. And if it wasn't for people like Al Sharpton, you wouldn't be able to speak and say nothing because you wouldn't be on TV. You wouldn't have a radio show. You know, you wouldn't be able to say anything. So how dare you speak up and say, oh, Al Sharpton's always trying to show up and try to get credit. Hey, he deserves the credit. Y'all should be trying to find a man and give him credit if he wasn't getting credit. And guess what? He still is targeted. He still is talked about. But guess what? When he started, he really didn't have any support except for God and just a few brothers here and there. And it was the church, black church that supported, but it was nobody else. You know, there was not hardly any white people that were supporting originally until Martin Luther King and these people started working with and getting a few people to support because it used to be total separation. You guys wasn't that long ago. So, you know, give the man some credit. He didn't do this for publicity. He didn't do this. I mean, you have to get publicity to get anything, any kind of cause out there. And it's a good thing he can get publicity because there's such an effort, again, to just kind of sweep all this stuff under the rug right in front of you. Just like with the police brutality. These people are being shot right in front of us. They're being choked right in front of us. They just go next week. They move on like nothing happened. Same thing with the Oscars So White thing. They were just going to move on like nothing happened. But these are the livelihoods of these actors. And there's not that many black actors in Hollywood. And when they do an outstanding performance like Beast of No Nation, which is also a commentary on all the child soldiers who were being killed, and it should be focused on for the simple fact that we need to do something about all these children being killed and being led off into literal new slavery as soldiers in Africa and other parts of the world, and that millions are dying with these wars that have no cause and no purpose, and like I said, have no nation. We need to start looking at that needs to be a reflection of their respect for these children when they give that Oscar to Idris Elba. You know, when you're giving Oscars to people for movies that are basically based on fantasy, you should give them an Oscar for something that really matters. So now I'm going to show you guys the clips from the Oscars protest with Al Sharpton, and here it is. And after that, we'll wrap it up, and I'll be back next time with another episode. I'm going to have a few more statements about this, but this is going to be a series I'm going into basically exposing in general how much racism is still in Hollywood and how much we really still have to change. God bless you guys. Check it out.
We are reminded of yet one of the continuous injustices that we still face as a people and as a nation. And that is the injustice of law enforcement officers that shoot first and ask questions later.
That's right.
You may or may not know about the tragic death of Keisha Nix, which occurred last week in Inglewood as the Inglewood Police Department unloaded some 30 rounds into the car that she was in. You may or may not know about this, but I sat with her mother just this week twice. And she told me one thing that I just want to share with you, and then I'm going to sit down. She said, I don't care about any money. She said, I don't care about if you destroy or heal or whatever. I want you to do one thing. Please try to keep another family from going through what we are going through. Please try to keep another mother from experiencing what I'm experiencing. And that's why when we talk about the challenges that continue to face us, there's a lot of work that we have to do to level the playing field, to make that all-encompassing statement that all men are created equal real.
That's right.
Because it's still not real. These parents will tell you that our work is not yet done. Thank you so much for everything that you are doing as a congregation and have done to honor the legacy of Johnny Cochran, but not just Johnny Cochran, all of the broad shoulders of every man and woman that has suffered so much in solitude and darkness.
You've extended kindness towards my family for years, and I recall your concern expressed during the time of my mother, Laura's death as well. So I thank you so much for that. And I'd like to present to you a DVD of a song called Santa, I Don't Care What Color You Are, which was inspired by a topic you discussed on Politics Nations a few years ago regarding the race of Santa Claus. So, this song is all your fault. I just want you to know, all your fault. And the last phrase of the song says, I want you to know I'm hanging in there with you. And that's all you, Reverend Sharpton. So, I want to know who you are.
And we're here with, tell us your name.
Hi, I'm Nia.
And what brings you out here today with the Al Sharpton March?
I am here to interview Al Sharpton and their formation to tune out the Oscars and why it's beneficial to add more diversity in the film industry.
Right on. And what are your feelings about the whole Oscar shutout of the black, the black artists?
It's a shame that in the film industry that they don't include a lot of African American people in more diverse roles, whether it's sci-fi or horror films. We're in a lot of stereotypical roles like slavery, prostitution, gang violence, drug abuse. But we need to be included in all types of genres. We need to be recognized in our acting, in our director roles, and all kinds of roles. And it's really important for African Americans to see the larger issue. There's so much more bigger things out there than boycotting the Oscars, but we need to recognize that a lot of the Egyptian movies that are coming out are played by white actors, and that's not fair. That's not nice. You know where Egypt is. Egypt is in Africa. You're African.
That's
so
right. Say that, sister.
European actors, so we need to definitely stand firm in that, or create our own movies, create our own movements, create our own Academy Award shows, so we can recognize ourselves. Do we recognize ourselves, or are we waiting for somebody else to recognize us? That's the most important thing.
Thank you, sister. That's very profound. And so we're going to see you on the bus, huh?
Yes, you will.
All right, thank you, sister. So is this the protest for the Oscars?
We're not protesting the Oscars. We're just stepping up for ourselves.
Okay, you're stepping up for yourself.
See more of us.
Okay. Any other words?
Yeah, we just gonna go and agitate. I have a wash machine. Once I put my clothes on agitated, it just shakes it up.
All right.
Right. That's what we're doing.
You say you're just shaking it up a little bit.
I'm here on the bus, Nan. This organization, we're going to Hollywood, and we're going to let them know that we have actors and actresses. Well, this is their job. This is their career. and they should be recognized. And we say that they will not just leave us out, not just write us out on Black History Month, and we're here to tell them that that's unacceptable to us, and we're going to do it. And then most of us here come from the church, and we know that even when Jesus was being baptized, God said, "This is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased." If God could tell his son he's well pleased, Hollywood, Oscars, the Golden Globe, People's Choice, critics, the Pan-African Film Festival, all of them need to tell African Americans we're well pleased with what you've done.
All right, well, everybody say amen to that.
As we prepare to go and demonstrate against the Academy, I want to say to each of you, thank you so much for getting on the bus. Just you getting on the bus is an expression of you putting forth the effort to put a change to this industry of Hollywood. We got individuals on this bus from Hollywood like Beverly and a few others who's been working a long time trying to knock this wall down in Hollywood. It's time for the walls to come down.
Amen.
I've been with Reverend Sharpton for the last almost 18 hours. We're committed. We're ready. We're fired up. We want to thank you all so much for just taking time to be a part. We're looking for high energy. We plan on being finished by 3:30.
All right.
We're not going to be there all day, all right? And be out by 3:30. So make sure y'all Facebook, Twitter. This is something historic that we're about to do. All right?
All right.
So get fired up.
Here today, man, just to make a difference. We're tired of Hollywood doing the same old stuff. We're coming to knock down the walls of diversity. National Action Network is in the house.
Linda J.
Hey.
Ready for action.
Yeah.
Activist extraordinaire.
All right, thank you.
Let's go! Tune out! Let's go! Tune out! Let's go! Tune out! Let's go! Tune out! When I say Oscar, you say tune out! Let's go! Tune out! Let's go! Tune out! Let's go! Tune out! All right! Oscar, tune out!
Today we're calling for national tune-out. We have over 5 cities around the nation that's come together saying we don't want you to support the Oscars, don't watch it, tune it out. We recognize that if you tune out the Oscars, that's going to affect their advertising. So we're here today to send a strong message to Hollywood, to send a strong message to the Academy. And it's time to make a change, especially when it deals with this diversity. Diversity is much more than words, it's about action.
Protest everyone leave. Black and Hollywood. Yellow need to be seen. Hollywood just on the silver screen.
All right, hip hop, hip. Don't stop the rockers and the bang bang boogies, and don't stop the boogie to the bang bang boogie. And Scooby Doo Bop, Scooby Doo.
That need to be seen. Got writers, producers, everybody just ain't getting the beam. Now we got to tell all the folks in Hollywood that we on the march until they hear it, and they ain't gonna stop until we say.
That's right. Come on up. We need some more cover. Come on.
Oh yeah, let's make some noise out here. Let's make some noise. Hollywood, let me hear you scream. No, we're not satisfied. Hollywood. You ain't really looking that good. I don't like what you're doing to me. I've got to be up on that screen.
I gotta be up on that screen.
I've got to be up on that screen.
I gotta be up on that screen.
I've got to be
up on that screen.
So I'm not really coming back.
I ain't really coming back
till I see the movies are black. Hollywood!
Hollywood! Hollywood! Woo!
Hollywood racist! 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 Racist! Hollywood racist! Hollywood racist! Hollywood racist! 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 Equal rights! Fairness! We got it! We earned it! Give it to us! Yes!
Here they're going to automatically go to see them on film. This is not true. There's so many more talented people of color that are not getting their chance. All these all these dumbass white men out there. Oh, absolutely, there's racism in the academy. It's controlled, unfortunately, by a bunch of people who look just like me. They think just because they're beautiful and good-looking and they got white skin that people can just follow and do whatever they say. Absolutely not true. There are so many great and talented people of color, men and women, may I say, and it's time to make a big and substantial change. Not just little pieces here and there, not just a little trinket or a little bit of scratch from the table. It's time to change the way the whole system works in Hollywood.
We've been put to the back of the bus. Today we come to send a strong message. We want to let them know what diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like.
That's right.
It's time for the world of diversity to be brought down in Hollywood. It's time to allow our women and our brothers and sisters to be a part of this industry. And we're thankful for so many of our friends that's here today. And we're going to get our rally started. And we're going to ask that first of all, Pastor Nathaniel Martin will open us up with a word of prayer.
We are bringing light and bringing might to the issue of how Hollywood interacts with African Americans, especially, and other people of color. We need, from the ground up, we need grips. We need technicians. It's not just being in front of the screen. We understand that when people tell your story, they're going to tell it their way. They're going to tell their version of your story, and you're going to be omitted from that. And that's the problem. We're talking about fairness. We're talking about balance. This is not about hate in any way. This is about love and being loved, and allowing us to love ourselves without intervention from anybody that's outside of that group. So I have a poem I want to do called Oscar So White.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oscar's so white that if one of us get caught with some, we might do 25 to life. Oscars are so white. How white? Snow White. Very few blacks get one of those little people. They so Snow White, they might bite an apple and be surrounded by 7 of them little people. Oscars so white that they ignore a free man. So white, they might get chauffeured by Morgan Freeman. Oscars so white. They got a whole house to put them in right there on Pennsylvania Avenue. Thank God for having you. Nothing that we haven't do or done can be done. We are children of the sun. Oscars is so white. They don't want a brother to be more polite. Oscars so white, they rather have you in the color section and them in their own area. Good music in the building. Malik Youssef, John Legend, Common Rhyme Fest. We in the Yay area. Turn up like Yeezy. It ain't never easy. We go hard or go home, and we ain't going nowhere. Thank you so much. Hip Hop Caucus, good music. Hip Hop Caucus in the house. We got another faithful soldier, frontline soldier, woman of excellence, a woman of strength. Our very own Sister Molly Bell, straight out of Compton.
My name is Molly Bell, and I'm straight out of Compton. Compton wasn't even recognized, and I disagree with Hollywood. Hollywood, first of all, anybody that's black, Latino, or white, and you go to to the movies, let me hear you scream. Anyone that's black, white, Latino, or Asian and pay big money for your tickets, let me hear you scream. First of all, since we pay, then we need to have a say. Don't you agree? We must have a say. Say that with me. We pay, we must have a say. Now let me just say this. First of all, I'm a work at the post office. And I love it when they say, Molly Bell, you're the employee of the month. And they recognize me. I would love to be put on a stamp someday where our black actors and actresses, that's their job. That's their career. They need to be recognized for what they have done. If they don't get recognized, who will? Who's going to let the world know that these black actors and actresses are #1 in their field? They are awesome. Say awesome. Awesome. And we recognize who they are. So that's why we say to the Oscars, you so right. You so right. You so right in Black History Month. You so right the last day of Black History Month. You so right that you didn't even see what happened in South Carolina. You so right you don't even know we have a black president. You so right that you don't even recognize what's going on. Oscar, you are so right. Shame, 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 shame on you. Oscar, you so right that if I gave an Oscar to you, the only Oscar that we get to talk about is Oscar Grant. How many saw that movie?
We had so many good movies.
We got the president, the CEO,
why did he get
the Los Angeles Urban League is in the house. Let's bring and let's make some noise.
There's plenty of movies. Remember the title, like I said. Glory. It showed a positive message. And then you guys are snubbing.
Let me just say that I want to thank
you know the movie that just came out about the child soldiers, Beast of No Nation, which is really opening the eyes to a lot of problems of innocent young people being murdered.
I had to say to him, I said, son,
champions
if you were good enough.
Are y'all ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? If you're ready, make some noise. Brothers, make some noise. If you want to change, make some noise. Brothers and sisters, living out Sharpton. No justice. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. All right. We're here today, and there are gatherings that have been called in the last few days to put the Academy and the movie industry on notice. That last year, when they came with an all-white nominations at the top of the Oscar night, they said we'll do better, give us a chance. We did. They did nothing. Then the emails were released from the chairman of Sony Pictures. She flew to New York and met with some of us. They said, give us a chance. That you're right, there are no blacks, no Latinos that can even green light a major motion picture. Nothing happened. Then the nominations come out again, the same thing. Don't forget this year, you had Straight Outta Compton. This year, you had Beast of No Nation. This year, you had the Will Smith movie of Concussion. And on and on and on. None of them are even considered for a top award. We're not saying who must win, but if you've been locked out of the process, then you are dealing with a systemic problem of exclusion. So there are gatherings around the country that's been put together in a few days to let them know that today starts our organizing and escalation. You are out of time. We are not going to allow the Oscars to continue. This will be the last night of an all-white Oscar. We intend to go to advertisers. We intend to mobilize all over the country. That's right. This is an insult to Americans of all races. That's why whites and blacks come out to this rally. And they're in New York, and they're in Atlanta, and they're in Cleveland, and they're in Detroit. Because people know that the picture that will be shown tonight on the stage is not the picture of American culture, not the picture of American cinema, not the picture of those that have talent and gifts. People of all races in this country have talent and gifts, and all ought to be weighed according to their talent, not by some that have an exclusionary policy. I decided to come to LA and stand with Reverend Toulis and Najee Ali and others to give this warning tonight. They will have black presenters, but they're presenting the people that blacks were not in the decision making. Chris Rock will tell good jokes because he's a good comedian, he's a great entertainer. He tells jokes, I tell the truth. This is not about Chris Rock. This is about Hattie McDonald. This is about those that were shut out and discriminated against. This is about what is real and what must be dealt with. So don't have the media pit us against Chris Rock or pit us against the performers. We're not anti-Leonardo, we're anti-exclusion by the Academy and by those that run those major movie studios that have made the decisions. So rather than ask me about Chris Rock, when you give the Oscars tonight out, you should give out white Oscars. Because that's who decided who could win tonight. So we're here to say you're on notice. Next time, we're going to mobilize a lot stronger and a lot longer. And we're going at the advertisers. But tonight, we come to serve you your eviction notice for an exclusionary Oscar. The marshals will be coming to end an all-white Oscar. No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! All right, Reverend Toulis. Come on, make some noise, family! Reverend Al Sharpton! No justice! No peace! No justice! No justice! No justice! No justice! Come on, make some noise!
Diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like. That's right.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Tell us what diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like. Tell me what diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like. Tell us what diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like. Tell us what diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like. No justice! No justice! No peace! 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 Tell us what diversity looks like! Tell us what diversity looks like! Tell us what diversity looks like! This is what diversity looks like! Tell us what diversity looks like! This is what diversity looks like! Tell us what diversity looks like! This is what diversity looks like! Tell us what diversity looks like! This is what diversity looks like! Tell us what diversity looks like! This is what diversity looks like! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like. No peace. No justice. 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 No peace.
I love it, man.
This is what diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like. This is what diversity looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. No peace. No peace. No peace. No peace.
Okay, my name is Desiree Smith, and I'm out here to support the boycott for the Oscars. I'm from the San Diego chapter of Black Lives Matter. We're trying to get things changed there in the schools, where my son was choked out by 2 police officers last year.
Your son was choked out last year by police officers.
By 2 police officers at a school event.
What was his name?
His name is Eric Smith.
It's important we know these people's names. Continue.
He was choked out by 2 San Diego police officers at school at a homecoming event. This Friday we just had another event where a young man was pepper sprayed and tasered by the school police officer. So we're out here to support Black Lives Matter and the boycott for the Oscars, and we're just out here doing our part representing for Black Lives Matter. No justice, no peace.
That's right. Thank you.
No peace. Show me what democracy looks like. 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 What democracy looks like. Show me 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 what democracy looks like.
G4, this is G4's best friend.
Everybody's here.
Well, folks, thank you guys for watching the G4 show. You know, this was the true Oscars protest. And I say that, what I mean is that, you know, the media really made this about divide and conquer. They really tried to make it like it was just Jada and Will Smith doing this protest. But really, it was all of us in solidarity. And this is the kind of positive unity that the media will never show. And they didn't show half of it, or barely any of it. They basically mentioned it in passing, but they didn't really give any credence to it. And then again, that's the kind of tactic of divide and conquer. You know, in this case, you know, it's only we feel like it's a small group that we can ignore, as opposed to if they keep on coming and coming in droves, then if it's not so, then it doesn't matter. But this is really just about Jada and Will Smith just being selfish because they didn't get a part. That's what it was. They were just bitter over that. No, like Will said, this is about leaving behind a Hollywood that we all want to see in the future. A very ethnically diverse Hollywood, which reflects everyone of color and not just in the roles that they pick for us to play, but also in the recognition that people get. We want to see diversity. God bless you guys. This is the G4 Show. See you guys next time. I have another episode coming, so please like this video. If you like what I'm doing, grassroots, trying to bring to you guys the real truth behind the scenes on the Oscar protests. May have got it to you guys a little later than you expected, but and I know that everyone's pretty much moved on now, but I feel that it's still important that this story needs to be told. Thank you. God bless, and if you haven't, say Jesus is Lord. Say Jesus is Lord. He loves you. God bless you guys.